Malelele, Pulavinaka, Talofalava, and welcome to another episode of Pacific Empowerment Podcast with Akanesi Kaufusi. And as you can see here, I have a guest here today, and I would like to introduce her to our program today. And in this episode, we will be talking about the 16th day of activism against gender-based violence to mark the importance of this movement that is currently going on starting this week. So without further ado, I will let Lizzie introduce herself and we will go from here.
Thank you, Nessie, and thank you for having me. So my name is Lizzie Wong, Bulavinaka. I'm from Fiji, and I'm also part of the Fiji Diaspora Women's Alliance. And like Nessie said, we're actually having a chat today because of the 16 days of activism. Thank you.
No, thank you. It was Lizzie. I didn't know about the 16th day of activism until Lizzie messaged me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a good opportunity for us to meet up again. If you don't know Lizzie, we had an interview before in my previous episode about domestic violence. So I'm so glad to have her back here again for this episode. And yeah, we'll just provide a brief background on what 16 days of activism mean and what it means for us here in the Pacific. So Lizzie, can you tell us, because you're a bit more familiar with this kind of work, Lizzie has been working in the domestic violence field, so she has more experience than me on this topic. Can you tell us a little, what is 16 days of activism and what does it mean for those who are not familiar with this?
So the 16 days of activism is actually a global thing. So it was kicked off by the UN Women. And what it is 16 days straight of creating awareness, talking about gender-based violence, having conversations like this, putting out information as well, equipping the community and highlighting the effects of domestic and family violence. And it's 16 days. So it kicked off on December the 25th and it ends December the 10th. So there's lots of activities like Nessie said, I work in the domestic violence sector, and also the Fiji Diaspora, we do support women affected by domestic violence. So there's a lot of activities, Google it, look on your local council. There's a lot of activities going on. There's marches, there's expos, there's events where women are getting together and men and talking about gender-based violence. And every year there's a theme to it.
Oh, that's awesome. I can see here the title of the theme for this year's one is based on cyberbullying and online abuse. So I'm just going to read a few sections from the UN Women website about what 16 Day of Activism, and then we'll... So it says here, there is no excuse for online abuse. Online and digital spaces should empower women and girls. Yet every day for millions of women and girls, the digital world has become a minefield of harassment, abuse, and control. What can start small on screens, a message, a comment, or a post, can quickly spiral into a torrent of threats and violence in real life. Private photos are stolen without consent. Lies spread in a matter of seconds. Locations are tracked. AI is weaponized to create deep fakes designed to shame and silence women. This 16 days of activism, join us as we rally for a world where technology is a force for equality, not harm.
That's right. So the reason why, as we all know, technology is a good thing, but it also has a dark side to it, like everything else. And what they're noticing from the research, that technology like cyberbullying, technology abuse, is actually one of the fastest growing form of abuse now, because everybody has access to the internet, everybody has a phone, a laptop. So somehow it's given everybody permission or, the right to bully people. And a lot of the times online bully does seep into reality, to real life bullying. So that's why this is the theme for this year, especially, what you're reading, 1 in 3 women get online abused, online bullying. So that's why we're talking about it today.
1 in 3 women experience gender-based violence in their lifetime. 16 to 58% of women and girls face digital violence, and 90 to 95% of deepfake videos are sexual images of women. Well, before we dive deep into that, have you experienced cyberbullying before, Lizzie? Have you?
I haven't like to that scale, but I have, because the thing is, when we're doing work like what we do, a lot of the times people think they know you from your online presence or
Yeah.
what you do online. So every now and then I'll get a message that's not very nice. And the thing is, they hide behind social media. So what they call keyboard warriors,
Yes.
they think they have the right to judge you or to, make up things about you and from what other they hear from other people.
Yep.
So that's been something I've experienced personally. I've also worked with clients who do experience, stalking, harassment and things like that. And that's actually very real because to the point, like we said, online seeps into reality.
Reality.
Yes.
Yeah, I had my fair share of bullying,
Yeah.
as I mentioned in our conversation when I first spoken up about DOA. I experienced different types of bullying online. And because this is like a sensitive topic in the Tongan community, and when I first spoken about DOA, the Tongan community, especially the men, the Whai government, they were bullying me online. I think my first experience was when they Photoshop a photo of me with a guy. I have no idea who he was. And then this page, Tonga Whelafuaki, is a Tongan page. He posted it there. And usually there are a few pages like this in the Tongan community and other Pacific community where they don't show their face, but they post these type to bully other people. And so I didn't know. So when I was posting my videos that day, people still started commenting weirdly. And I was like, why are they so nice to me? And then some of my friends and family started sending me the photos from this page because this page, that's what they usually do for so many years. They bully people online. So they sent me the photo of me and the guy. I have no idea who the guy is. But then I found out later the guy, they bully the guy as well. That's what they do to this person. They bully him, and they Photoshop us together. That is my first experience of online bullying when I first spoken about Faigava. And they thought that they will shut me up when they posted that video, but it just fired me up.
Yes.
Because then I came out with a whole new episode about bullies. Because the thing is, I'm glad it happened to me because I'm stronger than, so many people out there. I've heard of, there was this Tongan boy that recently suicide because of bullying online. And so many people were worried, of the photos about me. But the thing is, this is what they do. And then I continued speaking up against the Faigava issue and the Doha issue, and they wanted to shut me up to be quiet so I don't expose the behavior that they were doing. Then they started encouraging other social media creators, other influencers, Tongan men, influencers, and other Pacific Islanders to come after me, and bully me to keep quiet. And then one of these Tongan creator, so he created a few videos about me and bully me online. He was calling me all sort of names, that I'm ugly, making up lies about my body and everything. And gossip started spreading.
Yes.
And then another guy, another Tongan guy in his page posted up texts with some of his friends about me, about my past. So they send him lies. That's the thing. They add lies and then he posted it, to try and attack me. And then I saw another video of another Samoan guy. He created a video and, called me all sort of names to try and bully me to leave the Whai government alone. So they were trying so hard. It's like the devil is trying to attack you to be quiet.
Yes.
And I came up with the video and I'm like, you will never bully me to be quiet. But that's what's happening to women, especially these men. And they screen recorded my videos and then posted on their page. And the type of comments from the men, it's very bad. And it's not just me, so many women, if the kind of behavior that they are doing in Faikava, it's the same thing that they are doing online.
That's right.
And that was my experience of cyberbullying online. So
I think that's one thing the internet is a good thing. It really is because, we can research things, we have, access to information, to things like that. But then when we use it to create online hate or we use it to Like there was some incidents last week about a Fijian young man who, they showed a story about him, but they put the wrong name, that he did something here in Australia, but that young man was in Fiji. People were
Wow.
so quick to share it without checking the facts. And, and that's the thing we have to be really mindful of, is that, one, is it the truth?
Yeah.
Two, how is it going to affect the person?
Yeah.
Because think about if that was you or if that was your child.
Yeah.
You're putting out information about someone else's child,
Yes.
about someone's daughter, about someone's wife.
Yeah.
And what about if it's not true? What about if someone believes what you say and actually goes and attacks that
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
What are you going to say then?
Yeah.
But for some reason, we think we have this right because we can hide behind,
Yeah.
a keyboard or behind a screen. Because a lot of these people that do online bullying, they don't use their real pictures.
That's right.
They don't use their real names.
Yeah.
They hide behind pseudo accounts. And then they think they have the right to. But then when they get attacked,
Yeah.
it's a whole new story. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you attack me?
Yes.
But then you have the right to attack somebody else.
Yes. Yeah, that is what I experienced as well, because with the AI coming in, there were a few videos of me. They use my image and create an AI video with some gorilla or in some other man. And I have the record of those videos for those of you who created it. But that is the thing, Lizzie. When you try and defend yourself. So that's what they do. So they come and bully me. But then when I return the same, when I come and defend myself, then they come and say, I thought you used the Bible quotes, the Bible verse for your preaching. Why are you attacking us? And, why are you calling us all? But you did it to me first. I have the right to defend myself. What do you say about those people who become victims? And that's the thing.
play the victim.
They
They
turn.
play the victim card.
Yeah. So they attack me first. They come and swear at me, call me all sorts of names.
Yeah.
But then when I return the same, they become the victims. Like I'm the bad guy. What do you
Do
say
you know
about
what?
that?
That's actually a well-known tactic of abusers. So, for example, because I support women who are going through abuse, and we see like a lot of women end up killing their partners, right? Because after years and years and years and years of abuse, and one day they actually get up and they fight back for themselves, they end up causing more harm to that person. They end up getting arrested. They end up getting thrown in jail. Or, for example, someone keeps on, coming at you, and then you stand up for yourself, and then they go, oh, well, how dare you? Oh, see, look at her, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Look at her, look at you, you're so dramatic. Oh, you're so selfish. How dare you
How
react?
dare you say that
That
to
because
us?
they flip it. They flip the script and then they turn it on you. And that's what, and when they do that, that's a tactic to silence you, because you don't want to get attacked. You're already fearful for your life.
Yeah.
So that is a very well used tactic of abusers
Of
and
abusers,
bullies.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it's okay for you to target people. It's okay for you to say whatever you want. But when someone flips it back at you, like, how dare you?
How dare you
Yeah.
when you defend
Yes.
yourself? And that is what I always tell people. It's okay, you can attack me, but be prepared.
Yes.
To be prepared to accept what other people will say. If you're going to attack them, then
right.
expect attack. Don't play the victim.
And some
you know?
women might not be as bold as you to step up and speak because they're so used to being silenced, and they're afraid that they'll get attacked
Yeah.
or their family will get attacked, because you can't, especially online, we can't control what people are doing out there, because the thing is we're finding not only is just that one person, but then they get a whole group of people.
Exactly.
They screenshot things, send it to each other. And that's why we have to be careful what we're putting out there. We have to be careful what we're posting, because people do that. They're not bold enough to stand on their own. They're cowards. They have to enlist other people to come on board.
That's what bullies do. They
That's what bullies
recruit
do.
other people, and that's what I've
Yes.
been experiencing with the Faikava. Faikava men, when I spoken about the Faikava, they recruit other people, you recruit other social media influencers to attack me. And do you think, because they said that I'm bullying the Faikava men when I spoke out about the issue about, is that bullying when you're trying to expose very bad behavior, that's been going on for decades in the Pacific, of women being sexually abused or sexually assaulted. And now I'm exposing this type of behavior, and they say that I'm bullying the Faikava men. Is that bullying, or how do you differentiate bullying with speaking out against bad behavior?
Yeah. You know what? We talk about this a lot because the thing is, when you call out bad behavior or when you call out someone on what they're doing wrong, and especially if they know what they're doing is not right, they will always, like we said, flip the script back on you that you're being a bully, that you're saying things that you shouldn't say because in our culture we have to be respectful. Women shouldn't be so bold and call people names and, put things up. But like the thing is, like you and I talk about this a lot, and I talk about it with a lot of people in my circle, is that we've been handling things quietly and respectfully for generations. But because we've been silent in the name of culture, in the name of faith, in the name of this is the way we do it. Well, look at things now. Look at our countries now. Look at what's going on. Because of years of generations of silence, now everything's getting exposed. And now with the internet, nobody can hide anymore. No one can hide. I think it's probably you're offending people in the way you're, like saying things. But the thing is, how can you say anything when you're calling out bad behavior?
Bad behavior.
You can do the softly approach, but that hasn't worked, right?
It hasn't worked, yeah.
And then now so you're like reacting to your audience and the words they're saying to you. It's not right. So I think we all comes down to, instead of hiding behind the culture, instead of using our culture and our faith as a justification, we need to just come down to the core of it. We're human beings.
Yes.
Treat each other with respect.
Yeah.
You want respect? Well, then give respect.
Give respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, earn. Respect is earned.
That's
It's
right.
not given freely.
Yeah. You can't go around calling people names, making videos, degrading videos of you, and then expect you to be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just go away. I'll come back tomorrow.
That is the thing. Like they expect me to be quiet after they bully me.
Yeah.
And that is not how it goes.
No.
You have to accept that. And that's the thing. I was speaking against Faigava and the behavior, but they come in and attack me personally. I didn't attack them personally, but they come and attack me, my body, my image, my family, my past. But that wasn't what I was talking about. I was talking about the behavior of our government, and how they treated the women in Doha. But then they started saying, I'm bullying the Thai government.
But a lot of times, you know what? People get away with what they get away with because they surround themselves with people who believe the same as them, that they're okay with that behavior. So that's why, they do that. And they think it's okay. And when it makes you uncomfortable, that's why you react. Unless, like what we should do is, okay, I don't always agree with some of the things you say. And we talk about it all the time. But you know what? I don't have to comment to everything you say. I don't have to react to everything you say, but there's something I can learn from it.
Yeah, I don't react to all the name calling, but then there comes a time when you have to stand up for yourself and set boundaries. So how people are bullying you online. So with that in mind, did you hear my previous podcast of how the men are taking photos of the doa without their consent?
Yes.
And send it around their group chats to maybe make fun or
Yes.
sexual. Well, what do you?
That's actually
think
against the law, because one, like it depends what type of pic. I mean, when we're in a public event, we can't control that, like who takes pictures of us and things like that. But if you're taking pictures to degrade the person, that's actually not right. Maybe it's not something that you will get thrown into prison for. But what about morally? What about if they took pictures of your daughter or of you in a compromising position and sent it to someone else? How would you feel about it?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I grew up, I don't know, we all probably grew up different, but I grew up in a generation where we show respect.
Yeah.
Where we honor each other, where we respect each other. Like there's just certain things you don't have to be written in writing. Don't do this.
Yeah.
But why is it we've lost all of that?
No.
Like everybody's free game.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Just do it. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Especially women. Like why?
Yeah.
Why is it they have an issue with women?
Because in this case, his wife said that because she dated a Faikava man, but then she was sleeping and he took a photo of her without her consent and sent it to And that is the issue.
That's the
It's
issue.
just not only touching them without
Yes.
consent, but now they're taking photos.
Yes. Also, yeah, we have to remember once something's online, you can, even if you delete it from your phone, it's there forever. What about if you took a picture today and then in 5 years you think, oh, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Then you go and delete it. It's too late.
Yeah,
It's still online.
it's still online.
Someone has it that you,
Yeah.
and how can you control who the other person sent it to?
Yeah.
You know?
So with the image, what the Thai government are doing, sending photos without consent, is that a crime? And what do you call it when
That's
it comes
actually
to?
called image-based abuse.
Okay.
Because that's sending intimate pictures of someone without their consent. Also threatening to send intimate pictures of people without their consent. So you know how some people video themselves in intimate positions, and then when they break up, they threaten the woman. If you go and talk about this, I'm going to post this or I'm going to send it to your family. That's actually image-based abuse. And it happens quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you say that. I remember it happens in high school often with teenagers.
Yes.
Some young women have committed suicide because of bullies in high school. They take some of their photos. Well, some young women, you know how sometimes they're so naive and they take photos, but then bullies use them against them.
Because like that's one thing we're finding. It's not just teenagers, it's also like full grown adults. Like for example, I don't know where this came from, but people request pictures of each other.
Yeah,
Send me a
yeah,
pic of this, or you send me a pic of that, and then they send it to one another.
yeah,
And the girl or whoever, the innocent party, could be just doing because they think, oh, they love me, I love them. It's private. But then you can't control what that other person does, especially if you break up or they ask you to do something and you're not willing to do it.
yeah.
They will use those pictures to threaten the women and the girls. Yeah.
And oh my gosh, that just reminded me because I saw a lot of our Tongan people, they do that.
Yes.
So there was this guy. So he was dating, well, the guy was married, but then he dated a girl in Tonga. And then they were doing video calling, but the girl was screen recording their video calls. And then the guy was crying and confessing his love for her. And she posted it on social media.
Wow.
You know how he was crying and confessing his love for her, because they're having an affair. And then when she was mad at the guy, like when they broke up, she posted
That's it.
the video. And I don't understand, how can you ruin someone's life?
I see a lot
With-
of that,
yeah.
unfortunately. And that's what goes back to what we said in the beginning about how the internet has now given people permission to do certain things that we never would have done in the past, because we didn't have access to the internet. I think it's just, it's a personal thing. I think it's to do with a person's mentality. I mean, if you break up, you break up.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
Like have your cry, go out with your girlfriends, do whatever you need to do, or your boyfriends, your friends or whatever. But you don't have to do those things. But why? I don't know why. It's such a big thing now.
Yeah.
Everybody posts everything on social media.
Yeah.
They don't like somebody, they think they have the right to just
Yeah.
put it out there. But we have to remember our children are watching us.
Yes.
Like there's certain women that put out certain things on social media and even men using vulgar language, but they forget their children are also on social
Watching.
media.
Yes.
And whatever we do, our families get tagged with it. That's
Yes.
one thing we forget. It's not just you.
Yeah.
It's your whole family, your church, everybody that is attached to
Yeah.
you becomes part of that.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we're not thinking with our brain. We're just being emotional and just being angry and bitter, I think comes down to it.
Yeah. That reminds me of the Thai government, the type of comments that they put out.
Yeah.
And these are married men.
Yeah.
And the type of comments they put out to other women and about a doa, because when they post a video of the doa and then they bully or say all sort of stuff about the doa's body, what she wears and everything. And, I get the same bullying when they were bullying me, what I look like or whatever. I mean, it's okay for those who are strong enough to take it, but we have to remember there are vulnerable people that are not as strong as me, and it won't work for everyone.
Yes. But I think too, I mean, even though I know you're strong, like you are quite strong, but still it will have still some residue on you. You know, it'll still affect you in your
Yeah.
life because we're all human beings, we're flesh and bone. We are not machines. And you know what? I always say this to every good person has a line where they've had enough, where they're done with, you know, because we can only take so much
Yeah.
unless you have, you know, someone you can go and vent to, you can debrief with, you can talk to. Like you've got a very supportive husband.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes your husband too will get upset.
Yeah.
Because he loves you, right? And people are attacking you like that. Of course, it's going to affect him.
And not only that, but family members as well.
Yes, your
Family members,
siblings, your
cousins, and all
yes,
of that.
that's it.
And that is the thing.
And do you want to put yourself out there as a person who's so vile?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever think you're attacking one person, but what about how people are seeing who you are as a person?
And that is exactly when I talk about these sexual abuse and the fight cover. And they attack me like that. It's like they're exposing themselves, the type of men they are. You never know. These are the very people who are doing the type of behavior that I was calling out in the fight cover. And that is why they're attacking me, because they are the ones that are doing those behaviors,
I think that's another myth with abuse, that we think people that men or women that abuse, they look like monsters, or they look, they look like weird, but they're not.
Oh my
They're
gosh,
normally
yes.
people that you trust.
Yeah.
They just look like
Normal people.
everyday people that you go to church with, that you go to the school with, that you do life with. They're just everyday people that are abusers, So that's a myth that we have to break. Usually, a lot of the times people that abuse are really good men. There's a book that's written about domestic violence. It's called Charmed and Dangerous.
Oh, I need to read that.
Yes. And what it is because in the public, the abuser, he's charming,
Most lovable. Yes.
funny. He's but then behind closed doors, he's an abuser.
He's an abuser. Yeah, there's so many cases like that.
You can't pick them.
They are well trusted in the family, man,
well respected.
But then behind closed doors. And that is why I always stressed, it's who you are in private that matters
right.
more than who you are in public.
That's right.
Okay, so let's look here at the 16th day of activism. I'm just going to read out some of the sections and then we can discuss that. Yeah. So behind every statistics are real women and girls, journalists who stop writing after death threats, activists who delete their accounts to protect their families, girls who lose confidence before they've even found their voices, women who are stalked, raped, or even killed. The harm may happen online, but its impact is painfully real, seeping into homes, workplaces, and communities. And it's happening at a time when sweeping aid cuts are forcing women's organizations around the world to shut down or drastically scale back programs to end violence against women. I mean, like I told you before, I try to avoid going to public gatherings now, especially with the fight government, because I'm hitting so many sensitive topics in the Pacific, especially with domestic violence. And I've got so many threats online and bullying, and you never know what's going to happen. So that is what happens when women have to speak out against these topics.
Because I think sometimes when we speak out about things like this, people just come from their own perspective. And a lot of the times I think they think we're telling women to leave their relationships. We're not, and that's not something I'm doing as well, or you're doing. We're just calling out behavior because we can see how it affects our women and girls and our sons, and then it just becomes a ripple effect. And people who don't like it, who are offended by it, not a lot, but I do get negative things said about me, like I'm caught up in my trauma. That's why I talk about this. But it's not about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so now that you mentioned that, it reminds me so much of when I started talking about mental health.
Yes.
And when I mentioned that the church ministers, the professionals in the Pacific, they need to seek therapists to help them deal with their trauma before they go out and start working. And some of these women and men started attacking me personally and said, just because I have my own personal trauma doesn't mean that everyone has it. And I'm like, I'm talking from my experience, but in our Pacific community, this is a huge problem.
Yes.
And they started attacking me personally for suggesting this recommendation to our people to help them. And they thought I'm attacking them
That's
by
right.
suggesting therapists.
I think, you know what, I like, if we go back, because we always claim that we're people of faith,
Yeah.
right? My belief is that God doesn't waste our pain.
Yeah.
That everything you go through in life, whether good or bad, and most of the time, the bad things that we go through is usually the catalyst to your purpose that God called you to do. And I really believe, like, yes, I wish I never went through what I went through. But the reason why I'm so passionate about what I do now and I speak up against it is because I am a survivor. And also, I saw how it changed me
Yeah.
from the young girl I was to the woman I am, changed my children, And the reason why I started is because I want to be that woman I needed 20 years ago because I didn't have anyone to go to. So now I want to be that woman that someone can go to and trust, create a safe space. A lot of times we're not, yes, we are talking from our own life experience, but it's not because we want people to stay in trauma. We want people to say your trauma doesn't actually define you. And that's the thing about abuse. A lot of the times the shame that, ends up being the victims when it was never ours. The shame actually belongs to the abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they flip it against us and go, no, it's you.
You should be
And then
ashamed.
we carry the shame.
Yeah.
But we were never meant to carry that shame.
Never. Yeah, but that's the thing that reminds me of the testimony of the daughter who was, raped. Even though she took them to court and she
Yes.
won, the community still shame her and blame her and not the perpetrators.
Exactly.
And that is what the women go through.
Yes.
So they say here with people who delete their accounts to protect their families, like I mentioned before, I see so many social media influencers who get killed during their life, not just women, but men as well. There was a guy who was preaching online, but then suddenly someone stabbed him on live, That is the danger of putting yourself out there. People who are putting so much of their information, their photos, their children, where they are going. How do they protect them from these type of abuse and, danger online?
So when a woman comes to me and she's actually planning to leave the abuser, so we usually start something, it's called an exit plan. And we start by, like doing, while she's still in the home, we start planning things so that when she leaves, she doesn't need to come back. One of the things that I always talk about is be careful what you're posting online. One, when you share a picture, you put your location on.
Like on Instagram
or
or
Facebook,
the location. Yes.
You put the location in.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't put location in. Also, be careful what you're posting online. Like, for example, any identifying like the number of your house. Do not post pictures of that. Or identifying landmarks.
Yes.
Like the Harbour Bridge. Don't post the Harbour Bridge if you're standing in front of the Harbour Bridge.
Yeah.
Because, the thing is, you may have blocked the abuser.
Yeah.
But the abuser may be using someone who's still your friend on social media to watch and survey on their behalf.
Yeah.
A lot of the times too, abusers, if you've shared accounts, they can hack into your account and follow you. So, and harass you that way, stalk you that way. So the thing is, change your password, change all those things. Be careful what you're posting on social media. Most of all, be careful who you're sharing private details with.
Yeah.
Sometimes a friend is not a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something we really need to learn. Not everybody I've
that
found
smiles
that
at you
is a friend. They say keep your enemies closer, your friends closer than you, because it's so true. Because a lot of the times I find with women I support, people will reach out, go, oh, Nessie, I heard, what happened? Are you okay? Then you just divulge. Then what they do is gather that.
and yeah.
So we have to be careful, use your common sense.
Yes. And I think also with posting live. So if you're going for a vacation, if you're going somewhere, do not post the photos live of the location.
Yeah.
So take all the photos and the videos that you like, but when you leave, you post it when you go back home safely or when you go to your place. But don't post live and say, I'm currently here. That's a danger to anyone who's stalking you or who's having any ill will.
And why do you need to post everything?
Yeah.
I think that's another issue which is driving this cyber abuse is that everybody feels the need to be seen. or to be validated. Trust me, half the people that are liking your page are not going to be there when
Yeah.
in times of trouble.
Yeah.
They're not. They're just liking your page.
Yeah.
They're liking your pics, but they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
So we have to really use our brain that God gave us, and use common sense. Protect your life, protect you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anybody else. You don't need validation.
Yeah, I think especially with parents who are sharing so much
Yes.
information, the daily vlog, even your bedroom, your bathroom, and even the face of your kids, because nowadays there are the child trafficking, pornography, whatever.
Yes.
So they usually take the photo of your kids and use AI to, so parents have to be careful. I mean, we're not telling you to stop, but just be mindful when you post a picture of your children out there in the public, because you don't even know who's watching.
Yeah. Or if you're going to post, make a page private, and get rid of people you don't know in real life. Have a private page and have a public page. In your public page, don't post your children, or your grandchildren. Like my sons, they don't like to post their children. So if I post pictures of my grandchildren, it's in my private page.
Yeah.
It's not in my public page because you don't know who's seeing it.
So you don't know.
And because we're talking about cyber abuse,
Yeah.
fakes,
Yes.
they use AI.
They use
and
AI.
a lot of these perpetrators, like these perverts, what they do is take your children's face and use it in, child pornography.
That's right. That's right.
So we have to be careful.
So many sick people out there.
Oh, this world is going nuts.
So misogynistic content in the manosphere is fueling the abuse and spreading disinformation and hate. When these toxic ideas go viral, they shape how entire generations see and treat women and girls. Inequality in access and power over technology also deepens the risks for some women and girls, especially those in a rural and low-income communities, especially spreading misinformation.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you can't believe the stories that these people were telling about me online. And I saw so many posts saying that I did this, that I did this. I had no idea what happened, who these people are. And they
You
were
knew things about,
yeah.
you learn new things about yourself.
I learn new things about me every day. The kind of things
Yeah.
that and they even say that I've never doa in my life, but so many men are putting out information that I went doa and all of, and that is the kind of, misinformation and the lies that they create online to degrade women and all of that.
It happens quite a lot because, see, when I was actually reading a story about a poet, she's still alive in America, a black woman, and she was essayed when as a child, and then she started speaking out as she got older, and she said she started to realize when women started speaking out, women would attack her and call her crazy, arrogant, rude, and that was a tactic to silence you.
Yes.
So, and make up lies, put out information about you that weren't true. And that's a way to silence you. We're going to make up all these things. So Nessie, feel embarrassed, go back into your house, Nessie, and close the door.
Yeah, and never post about
Don't
Faikava
post
anymore.
anymore. Yeah, don't talk anymore. And that's the way they silence us, is by making up these things, lies, misinformation. But do you know that's actually illegal, because that's defamation of character.
That's defamation of character, yeah.
You can't do that unless you have proof, you have facts. But that's the thing.
It's funny because when I first started and they attack me and they call me all those sort of names and they make up lies about me, so I started putting them up on my on my stories, and then they said, "Oh, I'm gonna go and get a lawyer," because you're spreading. And I'm like, you call me different names and you created lies about me online, but then I come back and retaliate. You said you're gonna go and get a lawyer. Like, I don't understand it, these bullies.
I think we've always got to be careful because there's a fine line, between, what's false and what's true, because sometimes they're coming from their perspective. And also, if you have a public platform like you do, like I do, we always have to still be mindful.
Be careful,
because we can get, into trouble.
Yeah.
It's good to get legal advice, but the thing is, they can't be bullying. We can't be doing this in a public forum because once we're all adults.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's adults that are doing this, not the young
Not the young ones.
people
And the young people are watching.
are watching us, going back and forth. And then we tell them, be respectful. We teach our children to be
Yeah.
respectful. And yet, look at what we do online
Yeah.
and what we do to each other as people. Like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's why we're raising a confused generation.
Yeah, I remember there was this guy who stitched my video, and he was swearing at me nonstop on the video. So I posted something about him on my TikTok, and then all of his friends messaged me and said, "Oh, he's gonna come after you online, and he's gonna." It's like they think that they can bully people and bring people down just letting these men bully women online.
I think what we have to remember, everybody has the right to their opinion, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has the
Everybody
right to their opinion. But the thing is, you have the
Swearing
right to,
is not an opinion.
No, it's not, like if you don't agree with Nessie, just keep scrolling. Because you know what? The only way we're going to bring change is when we can actually sit together and have these hard conversations.
And I'm all about opinions. If someone disagrees, you can
That's
speak.
right.
But what they're doing is they call me all sort of names and they swear at me and attack
Yeah.
me. And then when I retaliate, they say I have to take up all the criticism.
Yeah,
All the swearing and everything. So I have to take it and be quiet and let them continue to bully me. And I'm like, no way. This is not how it works.
Yeah.
Having an opinion is different from swearing and
Yes.
attacking that person personally and his character and her character and whatever. That is not having an opinion.
We should learn by now that we're not going to always agree.
Yes.
Let's agree to disagree.
Respectfully. Yes.
Respectfully. Keep scrolling,
Yeah.
or don't follow.
Yeah.
That's simple. Don't follow.
But that is the tactic they use for anyone who's stand up to
Yes,
speak
to
about anything.
silence,
This is the tactic that most of our Pacific Islanders are using
Yeah.
to silence people who stand up for something.
And that goes back to that we haven't learned the skill of healthy communication.
Right.
That goes back to that. And I think that is something that we need to be talking about and teaching is how to have healthy dialogues.
Yes.
I know I'm still learning that. My children always tell me I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
I react to things. So I'm learning too,
Yeah.
we're both learning how to have a healthy dialogue, how to hear your opinion without me getting offended,
Yes.
how you hear me without getting offended.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't like what you said, Nessie. How are we going to fix the problem? But I think that's the way for solution.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree,
Yeah.
but respectfully without having to
Respectfully.
call them names and bring them down and bully
Yeah.
them and whatever. And I think you're right. That's something we need to teach Pacific Island, especially the youth, is to how can we have a dialogue and just disagree respectfully without
respectfully.
attacking the person personally. That is something our people need to learn.
I think that's a big thing we need to learn because we always turn to the dark side.
Yes, that is right. Always got defensive mode, defensive
side.
mode, defensive mode.
And the next thing becomes ugly.
It's a tough world.
It
It's tough because digitally we are bringing our behavior in person, and now it's like a whole different level. But it's very easy online because you don't know the person that's attacking you.
You can't control
They're
it.
using the fake profile. They are coming undercover to attack the people who are showing their faces, and that is what I call cowards.
Yes.
Like if you want to have an opinion, show your face. Show your face. Instead of attacking the people who are showing their face with your fake profile.
Like, maybe we don't always agree, but there's something we can learn from each other. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should consider that.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't take it on, but I'll consider it
Yeah.
and think about it. Maybe
Yeah.
this will help with my work that I do, or this will help me personally in my own life, or how is this affecting me? Because we're, a lot of times as Pacific, we're just thinking of the now, what's in front of our nose.
Yes.
But we're not thinking of the future.
Yeah, like we have to be more open-minded. Anyone who's willing to learn all the time, even from people they disagree with, is a person who, who's grow, and we can learn from the successful people. They learn from everyone. Even the janitor, even the cleaner, even the
Yes.
presidents. You learn something from everyone. So you have to be more open-minded and not very quick to shut someone down just because his opinion is different from yours.
That's right. Like Charlie Kirk said, learn something new every day.
Yeah, and also with Charlie Kirk, the reason why Charlie started his campus tour is because he wanted to have conversation peacefully with students to try and bring them right back to what is moral and what is true without using violence. Because he said the moment we stop talking, that
That's
is when
right.
violence happens.
That's
And
right.
that's why he went around and start conversations.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a quote. I can't remember who it was who said it. I think it was Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I think it was that, said that what I remember most is the silence of my friends, the ones that stood silent.
Yes.
And there's another quote, evil thrives when good men stay quiet.
Yes. Because if you stay quiet, you're defending the
That's
oppressor.
right. Yeah.
If you're not standing for something, you are not standing for
No,
anything.
that's right.
So, what should we do then? What is the solution going forward? With all these bullying online with our Pacific people, what do you think we should do to avoid this or reduce or educate our people on this issue, on the online bullying and cyberbullying?
Yeah. First, I think we need to remember that we have such a privilege to have the internet and we have a platform, and it should be used for something positive, not for negative. Also, if you are getting harassed or stalked, I think one thing I would encourage you to do is start taking screenshots and emailing it to yourself, keeping like a track of the abusive things or the threats, that you've been receiving. Also, you can report it to the police. People think just because I go and make a report to the police means there's going to be a criminal record. No, you can actually just go to the police and say, hey, this is happening. This person's been harassing me or threatening to share my intimate, or is stalking me. I don't want to press anything yet. I just want a statement. And what they'll do is they'll take a statement from you. They will then assess it, and when they take a statement, they will give you a number that starts with an E. When they give you that number, that shows that they've logged it onto their system. If they don't give you a number, that means they didn't log it onto their system. You keep that number, and you document who is it you spoke to, which police station, and what time, because then you can use it as a reference to go back, because you might not speak to the same police officer every time you go back. And the reason why I suggest for women to go make a statement is so that there's an awareness now of that person to the police, because they can assess it, because what we might think is not a big deal, they will see it as a big deal. Or what we think is a big deal, they might say, it's okay, it's not really that, dangerous or whatever it is. Also, there's the eSafety Commission website that's in Australia. You can go log in, go on it. It tells you on how to protect yourself. Like, if you feel someone is hacking into your accounts, you can actually take your phone to those computer shops. They can clean out your phone and then check it for bugs. You can reset the whole system, like your phone, your laptops, your computers, do all of that. It'll cost a little bit depending which shop you go to, but I think it's worth it, especially if you're escaping your abuser, So eSafety Commission, the police, eSafety is a website. You go onto the website, you can log a complaint. And what you need to do is put in as much evidence, the person's name, what is happening, and you can also upload all the documents and the evidence that you have. As long as it's logged somewhere.
Yeah.
You can always go back to it and refer to it and say, I did make a complaint on eSafety Commission. I also did speak to the police. I made a statement. Here's my event number. It's called the event number. So it's a number with an E. Always remember that.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can do out there. Be careful what you're posting on social media once again.
And not only on social media, but be careful on what you send via messenger.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you remember, but the former Minister of Women in Fiji,
Yes,
with that issue,
Linda
because
Tambor,
of she has a right to her video, but because she sent it to someone, that person, use it to bring her down. And that is the thing. You have to be careful. Do not ever send inappropriate photo of you to anyone online. I don't care if he's your boyfriend or if he's your best friend, or if you do not ever send an inappropriate photo of your body to anyone, because you never know. And I think that happens to some of the rugby players as well, with sending photos on Snapchat, and you never do that because you don't even know who they're going to send it to.
You can't control it.
You
Because
can't
once
control.
it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
Even if we don't talk about I mean, not even pictures, just text messages.
Yes.
What you're writing to other people,
That's right.
people screenshot it and
Yes.
send it to other people. Even like, what you're posting on your timeline, even if it's like a caption,
Yes.
people, you just can't control, and you don't know what people's mentality is. And it goes back to, not everybody's a friend.
Yes.
Always remember that. I'm not saying to become paranoid or become suspicious, but always be mindful that you can't control what other people do.
And also use the block button. That's
Yes.
what I use most of the time.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter if they laugh at you for blocking them, but use it for your peace. That's what I use. Like, it helps me so much. Once someone started, sending messages or commenting, inappropriately, I just block them,
Yeah.
and that's it. Just block, report, delete.
Yes.
That is the safest way. Do not waste your time going back and arguing with these people, because it's just gonna get worse. I was just doing my search because I saw the other day on social media that Tonga passed a Computer Crimes Act recently, I think this week. They replace it with cyberbullying. So this Computer Crimes Act, it gives law enforcement power to preserve data for criminal investigations and all of that. So
Yeah.
I think in the Pacific, I know Fiji have one,
Yes.
where people can call all those, report those cyberbullying as well.
Yes. Also, I think what we need to talk to the younger women is, we really need to value ourselves as women. We really do. Because, I was actually reflecting on this after you and I had the conversation about doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I was actually reflecting, what is the deep core of why women, we find ourselves in this situation? The deep core is because we don't even love ourselves to start with. We don't even know ourselves to start with. That's such a big thing. How do you know yourself? You never really know yourself because you're forever growing, evolving. But if we really know who, like, we really are okay with ourselves, then we would not allow people to mistreat us or allow these things to happen. Just like, girls, you don't need to send that pic. If that guy is asking you to send your pic, that should tell you what his character is. Because if he respects you and he honors you as a woman, as a young girl, and he loves you, he would not even ask for that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't, because he'll respect you that much.
Yes. Yeah.
So if that should be a red flag straight away. If a guy's asking for that, or they send you a pic unsolicited, you didn't ask for it, you need to delete it, or you need to report it.
Yeah.
Because that's not something you asked for, and you need to block them.
Yeah.
Because when we allow little things, it leads to big things,
That's right.
So I think the core is, as young girls, as women, we really need to learn to love ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's a very useful advice. I'm just reading through the page of the activism. It says here, what needs to happen now and how to take action is hold perpetrators accountable through better laws and enforcement, like the Tonga Computer Crimes Act that they just passed in Tonga. And what you just mentioned, make tech companies step up by hiring more women to create safer online spaces, removing harmful content quickly, and responding to reports of abuse. That is really true. I remember when Charlie Kirk's assassination, and then now they've already taken off all those videos down and stuff. So support survivors with real resources by funding women's rights organizations and movements. Funding, so that's a really important.
Funding is so important.
What's your experience? Because with your organization, can you talk a little about what do you find it difficult
Yes.
trying to run your organization?
Yes. So we are a not-for-profit, and when we started, we actually, a lot of the things came out of our own pocket. A lot of people have this assumption, because we predominantly DV is our message, that we get a lot of funding. But you have to remember, there's thousands of organizations eating from the one pie. So you don't get a lot. And yes, the government always makes these announcements, oh, we've given 30 something million to the DV sector. But you know what happens to that funding? It goes to all the pie, the admin, the advertising, the campaigning, all that. By the time it filters down to grassroots, there's nothing much there. So, it's very hard to get funding. We work around the systems, but in regards to clients, like, I support a lot of our clients, and a lot of it is making 1,000 calls to different services saying, hey, can we get support in this? Are you able to help us support us? So I'm constantly on the phone. I'm constantly researching, where can I get this? Where can I get that? Sometimes I give up and it just comes out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And, it's not sustainable because there's so much need out there. Like you would be amazed at how many women that are going through a crisis right now as we speak. I stay awake because I'm thinking, how am I going to support this? How am I going to? I'm one person.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important. Like as Pacific Islanders, we have so many little branches, so many things. Why can't we like come together and work together and build a hub or a support system for everybody,
people,
for our people, but I don't know. It's been 5 years of hard slog. Like I said to you, I feel so burnt out because I'm constantly networking, going to meetings, but I have to, because that's the only way I can get out there what we're doing. Yes, there's a lot of DV services, but they're not culturally sensitive. I'm not degrading anybody, but a Chinese woman can't speak for a Fijian woman.
Yes.
Because you don't understand our culture.
That's right.
Yeah. And a lot of the women feel safe from our community talking to me because one, I understand them, I understand the culture.
Yeah.
Second, they feel safe because I'm not very well known in our community too. There is a lot of funding out there, but we're all fighting for the same money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're watching and you have money, you can support us with our not-for-profit organization.
please.
What is the name of your not-for-profit?
The Fiji Diaspora Women's Alliance. We're on Facebook and on Instagram.
On Instagram, and you can, if you want Lizzie's contact, you can always reach out to me so I can give you Lizzie's contact. And I mentioned before, I'm starting my not-for-profit so I can run this campaign of stopping the sexual abuse of women in Waikawa. And we need more funding to help us with this, because I feel like there is so much to do in our Pacific community to educate our people on this kind of stuff. So if you're watching, if you have money and you don't know what to do with it, please do reach out, share. We have so many projects, that we want to do, but with your money, we can achieve all of that. To help our people.
There is a real need. Do you know there's a real need? Like, for example, I have 3 women that are right now in temporary accommodation.
Wow.
I would love to have my own shelter,
Yeah.
where I can have them just there. I don't have to ring around and ask someone, can you please? They're not there forever. They're there for
these
3,
are
4
Pacific
days.
women?
Fijian women.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is with the shelters, also depends on your visa status, so if you don't have your visa status here, you can't access Commonwealth assistance. It's very limited. They can only take you so far.
What would be a great solution for this? Because we can't find shelter for every woman that's going through this. What would be a better solution for this apart from?
Well, the dream is, and I think the ultimate goal for why I do what I do is to have a shelter of our own for Pacific women, to have a hub or to have some sort of, place where we can all go. Because the thing is, a lot of times we don't ask for help because we feel ashamed. We feel embarrassed. It goes back to, why is the woman homeless and her child? And
Especially
her
with
children?
the visa issues.
And that's another thing too, that's visa abuse. Now is a new thing where, they use their visa status to control the women.
Threaten the women.
So that's the solution, is that let's stop hiding behind our culture and our faith and just go down to the nitty-gritty, is how we treat each other as human beings. We call ourselves children of God. We're so quick to talk about the scripture, about the love of Christ. I was saying this to my son. When you are doing things, in this capacity or in this space, you really need to have the love of Christ.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if not, you'll get burnt out or you'll get fed up.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you don't get anything out of it. It's hard work for what. So the solution is, I think we need more women to come together, and we need our men, but the men need to
step up
and change the behavior, be part of the change. Until the men change the behavior and actually be accountable and address the behavior,
they won't.
The change won't happen. But we need to have something that is established. I always say this, if we have somewhere to go, then you feel valued. Like it actually makes you feel like
you belong somewhere. That's right.
So that's why it's important to have a place where we can go and where we can be catered to and supported through every season of life, whether it's youth, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's mental health. We have so many key people in different positions. We need our key people that are in those positions to be our voices
our
to the
voices.
government. Yeah. And, highlight our issues. Get us who are doing the work to come and speak, because sometimes you feel like you're alone.
I feel like there's a need for our Pacific. There's a reform needed, or transformation needed for our Pacific community in terms of mindset.
Yes. I
Mindset
keep
and
talking
mental
about
health.
this. We're like shocked about all these things that are happening around us. But it's been happening for generations.
Now
But
it's just exposing it.
yes, except because now we have the internet.
Yes.
Now, people are speaking out and we're like, oh, what happened? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
It's, this generation, they're so disrespectful. No, this has been happening for generations, but because we've been silent about what goes on in
Yes,
our
that's right.
community, the pot when it's boiling, the hot
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
it'll eventually explode.
Yeah.
That's
And
what.
the Bible did say everything hidden will come to light. And it's the same thing with Noah. And they were like, oh, back in the days, it was good back then. But you didn't know.
No.
There were sexual abuse happening
Yes.
back then, but they didn't speak up. So many women were sexually assaulted, but they didn't speak up because of
Yes.
fear. But thankfully, this is another good thing about the digital world, where we have a platform
Yes.
to talk about these issues openly, to expose these type of behaviors. So something has to change. So what is your advice for adult and young women, especially high school? If someone sends you a photo or threaten you with your own photo, what is the first step for them to do?
First of all, I think a lot of women, we keep quiet because we're ashamed.
Yes, especially if the photo is
Yes.
sexual. Yep.
Yes, the thing is, it's already happened.
Yeah.
You can't go back now, it's done. To protect yourself, don't engage with them. Report it, go and make a statement to the police. Show them, screenshot it before, if something happens to your phone. Email it to somebody you trust or email it to yourself. Go straight to the police, report it, make a statement. Or eSafety Commission, the website. Put a report there, upload the evidence that you have. Block that person. Sometimes people think, I can't block them because at least I need to know what he's doing,
know.
And so it's up to you. You know that person. We're not here to tell you what to do. You're the expert.
Yeah.
You know what works for you and your life. We're just here to give you options.
Yeah.
But do not remain silent.
Yeah.
Because when you keep quiet, that actually then gives him or the abuser, her, more room to move.
Yes.
But if you go and report it
As
as soon as possible, report it.
especially high school girls who
Yes.
are very embarrassed, and the parents didn't know that they're
Yeah.
currently going through abuse, bullying
Yeah,
online.
that's
And then
right.
they found out there is this whole website that bullying, these young women. So do not be silent.
If it's not safe for you to go to your parents, and I understand that sometimes our parents are the worst people to go to,
Yes.
go to your school, your school liaison officer or a trusted friend, an adult friend. But tell somebody what is going on. If you feel safe to take it even further, go to the police if you feel like this is a real threat. Make a report. I don't want him arrested. I don't want anything. I just want to make a statement just to protect myself. And that's your right to do that.
And just speak up.
I think it goes back, if we're talking about young people, it goes back to us as parents, the relationship we have with our children. It's so crucial, especially nowadays. There's so many voices in our children's heads. There's so many influences, like the internet has so many that can influence our young people. But we as parents need to have the loudest voice. We need to have the biggest influence. So we need to create a relationship with our children that they can come to us and they know that they can tell us anything. Yes, you might get shocked and you might get,
But they feel safe.
yeah, but you're safe. And you know what? We need to create that in our homes.
Environment, yes, that's right.
It comes back to us so that our children don't go here and there. They come directly to us. Yeah.
That's an amazing advice. I think we have pretty much covered everything
we've covered
today.
everything.
And I want to thank you so much, Lizzie, for your time. And, this is a really important information to help our people, especially our Pacific Island people. To educate them about these issues. And also, like I said before, if you're listening and you have money to spend, and if you're an investor or, you just have money to spend, do reach out to us because we have so many projects that we want to help our Pacific Island people. Reach out to Lizzie to help with her not-for-profit. Do you have any other message before we close off today, Lizzie?
Yeah, I think one of the fallacies, I think when people listen to people like us talk, they may have this thing that, oh, you don't understand what I'm going through. Your lives might be perfect.
Yes.
Far from it, you know. Our lives are not perfect and we don't have all the answers. We really don't. We're just here to share our experiences and our knowledge and also to start the conversation, because the only way change will come about is when we talk about it,
Yes.
is when we address the issue,
Yeah.
not run from it, because running from it and staying silent hasn't worked for our people.
Yeah.
And our children are now suffering and paying the cost of our silence.
Yeah.
So we need to now stop that and start speaking
Speaking
out.
out.
We're just here to highlight issues that we need to deal with
That's
so
right.
that we don't continue the generational trauma.
And also, just to add to that, is that I've always spoken about working on your mental health, work on your mindset,
Yes.
so because bullying, you won't be safe from bullying, but bullying online, we can't control how people react to you, how
Yes.
people respond to you. There is a quote, or there's a saying that says, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it.
Yes.
So you can't control everyone's reactions, but you can control how you react to people, who are responding, who are bullying you. And you can learn from how I reacted to the bullying that I get from the month that I spoke. And I didn't let it get to me, and I wasn't able to shut down everyone that was speaking, but I was able to control myself. I was able to control how I react to these people. Sometimes there are things that you need to address, but some things you just need to ignore, and that is why it's very important to work on your mental health, so you can be secured enough so that anything that happens, it doesn't really affect you mentally. It just helps you become stronger and stronger and protect yourself when things happen like this.
And surround
Yeah.
yourself with good people.
Yes, that is right.
You reminded me of a quote. I found a quote for you. So
Ah,
this is by Audre Lorde. She's a
yeah.
Black activist and a writer. She wrote, "I am not free while any woman is unfree, even if her shackles are very different from mine."
Oh, I love that. And
Yes.
and that we talk about, people think that when I first started speaking out about the fight kava and doa, then my husband goes and drink kava, and that is why I'm angry. I'm angry at the man. My situation is different. Like, my
Yes.
husband doesn't drink kava, and that is not the reason why I spoke out. The reason why I spoke out, because I have a very good life, and I feel for the women who is not living safely in their home. In their home, in regards to domestic violence, or women who goes to fight kava and get sexually abused. You don't speak out just because it happens to you. You have to fight for other people as well. Just because it doesn't happen to you doesn't mean you don't have to speak out. But the reason why we speak out and fight for this, if you're living a very good and comfortable life, then you have a responsibility to fight for people who doesn't have that opportunity and who doesn't live that comfortable life. So yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. It's been a good
Yeah. It's been a
conversation.
very long conversation,
Yes.
but I hope you learned something from this episode. And thank you so much for watching. Do reach out to us if you have a story to share, if you have a testimony to share in regards to domestic violence or cyberbullying. Do feel free to send me a message on social media with your story, and we can share that so other people can learn from that. But thank you so much for watching our podcast. And be safe out there. Speak up, be alert, and work on yourself. Be beautiful, be strong, and be courageous. And yeah. Binakabakalevu, Fafetai Lava, Malo Alpito, and have a blessed week. Thank
Thank
you.
you.